The Power of Letting Go by John Purkiss. Discover a new way to live. What do you want to change in your life? Maybe you want a better health, a relationship, happier relationships, a better job, or more money. Or maybe you want less of something like stress, frustration, or problems with your boss. Maybe you've been trying to change your life for years, but it still hasn't happened, which has left you feeling stuck. This book will show you how to live life on another level. You'll see yourself in the world around you in a completely different way. You'll let go of years of conditioning, which have led you to believe that the only way to make things happen is to think hard, take lots of action, and keep going through thick and thin. If you follow the steps described in this book, things will happen much more easily with a lot less stress. You don't need to control everything that's happening. You don't need to push, struggle, fight, force things, or try to manipulate people in order to make things the way you want them to be. It's exhausting and unnecessary. If you let go in the way I'm going to describe in this book, you'll experience what's called flow. You'll find yourself working in sync with the world instead of fighting against it. When you let go, your intuition will become much stronger. While it's okay to have a plan, it's also essential to tune in to what's actually happening and work with it instead of against it. You'll be much more successful at whatever you choose to do. You may be trying hard to make changes in your life, but feel stuck. If you follow the steps in this book, things will happen much more easily. You'll find yourself working in sync with the world instead of fighting against it. Your intuition will become much stronger. The Vedic tradition tells us that every aspect of nature, including our brain and body, is part of something extremely intelligent, which I'll call existence. Instead of flowing with existence, many of us fight it, creating conflict with other people and our environment. Once we let go of the ego that fights for survival, life will unfold naturally with little or no stress. We're often stuck in one of four key areas of our lives: health, relationships, career, or money. This book will show you how to let go in 3 steps. You'll learn to let go of thoughts, let go of pain patterns, and then to surrender and tune into something far more intelligent than your brain. When we surrender and let go of the ego, we fall into the present. Then your intuition tells you what to do, and desires are realized much more easily. You'll still think and analyze when you need to, but thinking will be your servant, not your master. Letting go is good for your health. Letting go is for everyone, whatever their religion may be, if they have one. Most of us have already experienced letting go. This book will help you let go all the time. Pause. Close your eyes, if it's safe to do so. Otherwise, place your attention on an object in front of you. Now, feel the breath moving slowly in and out of your body. Feel the weight of your body on the chair, and then the touch of your feet on the floor. Now, feel the texture of whatever your hands are touching. Every time your attention wanders, bring it gently back to one of your senses. If you feel angry or frustrated, notice that feeling and then bring your attention back to your senses. I'm not asking you to deny or repress any thoughts or feelings that may come up. All we're doing is noticing them and then bringing our attention back to our senses. Now try this. Notice every thought as it appears. Don't try to do anything with it. Don't judge it, resist it, or push it away. Just witness it and observe it. In a while, the thought will disappear and another thought will come. Just let them come and go. Practices such as mindfulness, transcendental meditation, and yoga all help us to think a lot less in our daily lives and just be. We begin to return to our original state. As babies, we simply are. We radiate love. As we grow up, we start to identify with all kinds of things. We start to believe that we are our bodies, which can make us obsessed with each change that occurs and afraid of death. Many of us believe that we are the mind, the endless mental chatter that demands a response with the compulsion to analyze everyone and everything. We identify with all kinds of other things: our education, social background, ethnicity, nationality, religious beliefs, relationships, occupation, income, wealth, and physical possessions. Think about it for a moment. You were none of these things when you were born. You let go of all of them when you die. So what happens in between? Who are you if you aren't that pile of stuff you keep identifying with? The answer is that you are pure consciousness, which you may experience for a few seconds if you wake up gently without an alarm. Then, within a few seconds, your mind will start chattering about your concerns, responsibilities, tea, coffee, breakfast, and so on. Consciousness is there in the background all the time. As I mentioned previously, it's like the screen in a cinema. The film flickers on the screen for an hour or two and we feel as though we're in the film. We get caught up in the drama, which can be fun or highly distressing. We forget that we're the screen, silent and unchanging. If you meditate correctly, you may experience pure consciousness. There's no identity, no John Purkiss or Frida Smith, no thoughts or beliefs, no story about what's happened, is happening, or will happen. There's just consciousness. I am. While you're walking around or sitting somewhere, keep thinking one thought, I am. If any of the thoughts occurred to you, which they almost certainly will, go back to this thought. If you notice that you've started to identify, let go. Return to the thought, I am. Keep thinking it over and over again like a mantra. It is a mantra. That's it. Simple, but surprisingly powerful if you persist. People have used this exercise to reach enlightenment. Please note that you aren't saying, I am this or I am that. You're saying, I am. In other words, you aren't identifying with anything. You simply are. This is a radical change. You are. Everything else comes and goes. Use this mantra anywhere at any time. Here are two examples. If you're engaged in some vigorous activity such as running, try thinking I am over and over again. You may notice the I am coinciding with the in and out breaths while your body carries on doing what it needs to do. If your mind goes into overdrive, speculating about what might happen or could happen, focus simply on I am. If you keep your mind focused on I am, you may find that the torrent of thoughts dies down. All the techniques described in this chapter will help you to be present. This allows life to unfold naturally, including the things you want to happen. You probably noticed that I keep referring to these stories as yours. That's because wherever they came from, you're the one who chooses to hold on to them or let go. This book will help you to do the latter. Simply becoming aware that you have a story is very helpful. One day, my friend Jacques was driving me to the station where I asked her a question. Here's the essence of our conversation. Me, what's happening with you? Jacques, all good except for business. I work hard, I'm always busy, but somehow I'm not making the sort of money I want. It's like there's a glass ceiling on it. Me, that sounds like a story to me. What are the beliefs behind it? Jacques, I'm not sure what you mean. Me, what's the story you tell yourself about you and success? Jacques, well, when I look at the world, what pains me most is the inequality I see. Everything from access to food, money, health, joy, and even sporting ability. And if I'm too successful, then I guess I'll become one of the perpetrators, one of the baddies creating inequality. She starts laughing. Me, and what do you get out of continuing to tell yourself that story? Jacques, if I can't get what I want either, then I can continue to think of myself as one of the good guys rather than one of the baddies. Or, oh dear, I have no idea what I've been playing. I was playing to this story. Me, what would happen if you just let go of the belief that you can't get what you want? Jacques, that would spoil my whole story. This is hilarious. I'm clear about my values around justice and equality, but I have no idea what I was holding on to the story. I'm so glad I've got this one out in the open. It's ridiculous. What would be the benefit of letting go of this story? Well, I'd probably find life easier to navigate and be more financially successful. Then I'd be able to contribute more money to frontline charities that provide medical care. And if I'm less busy holding myself back, then perhaps I'll have more time and energy to help address other injustices. It's a no-brainer, really. I could have been stuck for the rest of my life. According to the Tao Te Ching, not knowing is true knowledge. Presuming to know is a disease. Admitting that you don't know may feel like weakness or failure at first, but it can lead to major breakthroughs. It helps us to let go of old ideas and concepts and explore freely. We become open to new possibilities. Sometimes it's best to ask a question, leave it open instead of rushing to some conclusion. If human beings were as rational as we like to think we are, we'd be open to information from any source, regardless of whether it fitted with our existing beliefs. Of course, we would check to see if the new information was accurate, but being open-minded in the first place would help us to survive and prosper. In reality, most of us suffer from confirmation bias, the tendency to not look for information that confirms our beliefs and ignore or fail to notice evidence that contradicts them, even if it's right in front of us. There's been a lot of research into confirmation bias. My friend, Susanna Sahlstrom-Matthews, used to teach at the University of Cambridge and is now an independent economist. She says the origins of confirmation bias aren't yet fully understood. Why are we biased against being open-minded? Why aren't we intrigued by evidence that contradicts our current beliefs, given the potential benefits from revisiting our beliefs to a better match with our lives? There are ways of overcoming these biases and being more open-minded. The first step is to become aware of our confirmation bias. Ironically, knowledge can make us more biased if we aren't careful. Once we acquire some knowledge, we tend to notice evidence that's consistent with it, instead of noticing evidence that contradicts it. One technique Susanna recommends for overcoming confirmation bias is to let go of thoughts that what you'd expect to find on the basis of our knowledge. Another simple way to start overcoming confirmation bias is to read newspapers and websites where editorial opinions are the opposite of yours. Buy a newspaper or visit a news website that you don't normally look at. It's best to choose one that isn't aimed at people of your social background. When you meet someone whose opinion is different from yours, ask them lots of questions. Let go of your opinions and listen. Learn as much as you can about what they're saying and how they see things. Go to a part of your city or region that you haven't visited before, provided it's safe to do so. Walk around, watch and listen, talk to people. Travel by public transportation whenever possible. Put your phone away. Be present and pay attention to everything around you. Breaking a few habits will help you to see a bigger picture. You may find yourself having new ideas and spotting new opportunities. How to practice gratitude. Last thing at night, take a pen and a piece of paper and write down everything you appreciate most about today. Exclude anything that happened before today or that might happen in the future. This exercise is purely about today. Here are some examples: what you had for lunch or dinner, someone's positive reaction to the work you did for them, a conversation you had with a friend, the weather, some money you received, the project you're working on, a new experience you had today, something you learned, something you created, something that made you laugh, something interesting that you saw on TV or read about in the news. Once you're finished, go to bed. Notice how you feel. Notice how you feel when you wake up in the morning. When I started practicing this exercise, I noticed that I felt pretty good before I went to sleep. I used to feel a bit down in the mornings, but now I woke up feeling good too. The way I felt about things was gradually changing. Completion, relive to relieve. The first and most important step is to decide that you're going to let go of the pain patterns that are holding you back. Then you make a list of the incidents that caused you pain in the past. These incidents could have occurred in any area of your life at any time from early childhood onward. Sit in front of a mirror, connect with yourself by looking into your eyes, relive each incident at least 5 times by talking out loud to the person in the mirror. This technique is known as relive to relieve. Complete with each incident over a period of 20 minutes. Please note that you don't recall the incident, you relive it. If something painful happened when you were 5 years old, become 5 years old again with the way you saw things at that age, not the way you see things now. The aim is to experience everything as a 5-year-old and to allow all the feelings to come up. If you don't have a mirror at hand, you can simply close your eyes, look inward, and relive the experience. This is what Swamiji says on the subject. When we intensely relive the situation where we faced an incompletion, the intense conscious focus will help us to relieve the incompletion. Relive every suffering and suffocation that makes you feel you are not yet complete, which makes you feel you cannot manifest the life you want. You can apply this technique to any fear. For example, many of us are afraid of being rejected. This is what you can do to let go of it. 1, turn inward, locate the fear in your body. 2, go back as far as you can remember to the first time you felt rejected. It may have been in your early childhood. 3, now become that age again. Relive the experience from beginning to end. Allow anything to well up inside you, including emotions, thoughts, images, smells, anxiety, sensations, discomfort, agitation, pain, or any feeling of powerlessness. Do this over and over again in several sessions if you wish. If you persist with this exercise, your fear of rejection will diminish and start losing its grip on you. You may even find it hard to remember what you used to be so agitated about. Practice completion. Take a blank sheet of paper and write down a description of everything you're afraid of. Go back and identify the original incident that led to this fear. Use the completion exercise to relive each experience until it loses its power over you. This may require several sessions. Start discovering your inner image. I hope you can see from my example how your inner image based on pain in the distant past can shape your life. Your inner image consists of your thoughts and feelings about yourself, the stories you tell about you. Most of us aren't fully aware of what's going on. In chapter 2, I asked you to write down the answer to several questions, including the following. What's the story you tell about yourself? What are the beliefs underlying your story? Your answers to these 2 questions will be a big help in discovering your inner image. Sit quietly on your own with a pen and a blank sheet of paper. Write down what you believe about yourself and how you feel about yourself. Write down all your thoughts and feelings, whatever comes to mind without holding back. You're the only person who's going to see this, so write down how you really feel. The blissful emptiness lasted for about 24 hours. Then I had a conversation with someone about politics and the state of economy. Some of the old negative thoughts began to creep back in. Fortunately, I only had to do the completion exercise a few more times to return to that feeling of infinite space. The completion technique I've described in this chapter involves sitting down for a few minutes, ideally 20, at a time to relive the experience which is causing pain, agitation, or disturbance in you. Once you've done that and experienced the results, I encourage you to practice completion regularly throughout the day. Every time you have a painful experience, make sure you don't suppress it, thereby storing it inside you or try to deflect it in some way. Please do this instead. Turn inward. Find the pain, agitation, or discomfort in your body. Go back and find the original incident when you first began to feel this way. Relive that experience exactly as it happened from beginning to end. For example, you get fired from your job and feel angry, frustrated, or depressed. These are all powerless emotions. Now look back over your life and identify the first time you felt powerless in this way. Now relive that experience of powerlessness. Allow everything to come up as you do so. Once you've completed that experience in the distant past, you'll feel more powerful. This will help you get a new job much more quickly. The shadow is a term coined by Carl Jung. Another word for it is the dark side. It contains anything you fail to accept about yourself, which you then project unconsciously onto other people. In the meantime, you keep having the same problems with other people over and over again. The way to understand your shadow is to look at the people who annoy you most, hence the last exercise. What annoys you about them is something you've suppressed in yourself and projected onto them. Whatever it is, you'll keep seeing it in other people until you acknowledge it in yourself and embrace it. Then you'll start to become whole. In my case, those judgmental colleagues and girlfriends were clues to what was happening. How had I projected being judgmental onto them? Then it dawned on me, I was judgmental, sometimes extremely so. I denied that I was judgmental and had projected it onto other people. Judgmental people then kept appearing in my life to remind me. They would carry on doing so until I became whole. Things had become difficult with my previous girlfriend since we split up. The next time I saw her, I told her I realized I'd been judgmental, just as she'd always insisted. Finally, she said, after that, the situation magically improved. She was far less judgmental and fewer judgmental people showed up in my life. Overweight men also wound me up, particularly men in their 40s and 50s. I kept bumping into them, sometimes literally. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Strangely, overweight women didn't bother me. Then I realized I've been trying to lose 3 or 4 kilos for ages. I knew I had more energy than when I was lighter and ran better, but I been fighting the fact that I was overweight instead of embracing it. Hey, presto, I was surrounded by overweight men, silently reminding me that I hadn't accepted being overweight. I experimented with thinking about the subject differently. I'm overweight didn't feel so good. I also tried I'm heavier than I want to be. That didn't feel great either. It implied that I didn't accept myself as I was, which obviously wasn't going to work. Then I tried I can be overweight. That felt much better. It was something I was capable of being. I might or might not be overweight at any particular time. Gradually, overweight men somehow appeared in my life less frequently. Maybe they were still there, but I wasn't noticing them so much. Within a few weeks, people were commenting that my weight had fallen, even though I'd made no particular effort. My problems with judgmental people and overweight men went away once I became whole. As Carl Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. We may still lapse into the old way now and then and find ourselves trying to achieve things through mental and physical effort, but it's painful, which wakes us up. Then we surrender again. Here's the cycle we go through. Just to recap, the ego in the diagram opposite is the false self, which fools us into thinking we're separate. So we believe that the person in our stories is achieving things through mental and physical effort. These are the stages in the cycle. 1, surrender. You let go completely. You immerse yourself in what you're doing and allow things to unfold naturally. At some point, you experience 2, joy. You feel relaxed. Life takes care of itself. Sooner or later, something wonderful happens. You feel excited and grateful and fulfilled. However, this quickly leads to 3, ego. You start believing that your body/mind was responsible for what happened. People congratulate you on your achievements. You start to see yourself as separate from the whole and then go back to your old approach. This leads to 4, pain. Trying to do everything through mental and physical effort is tiring and stressful and produces very patchy results. Life keeps pushing you to let go. At some point, you experience a massive setback. Once you suffer for a while, you decide to let go. Initially, each cycle may take a few months or years to complete. My experience is that it gets shorter and shorter. After a while, you may go through a whole cycle in a day, a few hours, or even a few minutes. Eventually, after repeated cycles, we surrender continuously. You may be asking yourself, if I surrender, how will I know what to do? The answer is that once you surrender, your intuition will tell you what to do. Once you surrender, you can relax and enjoy the process. Your mind will become quieter because you're no longer resisting what's happening now, hearkening back to the past or fantasizing about the future. Then your intuition will tell you what to do. If you look carefully at your life, you can see what's happening. As I mentioned in the introduction, most of us are worried or feel stuck in one or more areas of our lives. So we keep struggling with the same issues, whether it's ill health, poor relationships, career frustrations, or lack of money. Here are some examples. You keep getting depressed. You frequently overeat and put on weight, increasing the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. You move from one organization to another, running into the same problems with your colleagues each time. You've had the same problem or similar problems in one relationship after another. You're in what feels like a dead-end job and you don't know what to do. You want to build a team, raise money, and start a business, but it never works out. You're good at what you do, but you keep running short of money. Whenever you have money, it always seems to leave you. None of these are random processes. These patterns of stuckness repeat themselves in a way which is particular to each of us, because we each have our own particular incompletions. As I said in chapter 3, incompletions are incidents, memories, and wrong cognitions from the past that are occupying the present and are affecting our future. Many of us think or say we want something to happen, but deep down we're resisting it. If we really want it to happen, we have to complete with the resistance as well. Let's go back to the 4 categories and imagine you want the following: good health, relationship, a well-paid job, financial abundance. Let's imagine that none of them is happening. So you turn inward and search for the resistance, negative thought patterns about what it will take to turn these desires into reality and what might happen as a result. Here are some examples. Good health. I'll have to start exercising. I hate exercising. I really don't like raw vegetables. I much prefer pizza and ice cream. People think I'm antisocial if I drink less alcohol or give up altogether. They think I'm boring. A relationship. I don't have time for a girlfriend, boyfriend. What if I tell them all my secrets and they betray me? I feel unattractive. A well-paid job. I don't want to be tied to my desk. I don't want to be responsible for lots of people. I'd rather finish writing my book. Financial abundance. I'm not good with money. Rich people are never happy. Being rich will mess up my relationships. I won't be able to trust anyone. These pain patterns are all stopping what you want to happen from happening. Please deal with each of them in turn. Go back in time and identify when this pain pattern started. It could have been a long time ago. What's the incident in the past which is triggering these negative thoughts now? Complete that experience by reliving it now. Build completion into your daily routine. It's best to set aside and do regular completion sessions. This is spiritual work. It's the equivalent of push-ups, swimming, or walking up flights of stairs. If you do it regularly, your life will change. I often complete last thing at night before I go to bed. I sleep a lot better as a result. If you're still doing the gratitude exercise, it's best to do the completion exercise beforehand. We manifest our beliefs, not our desires. Once you complete, your beliefs and desires become one. Then your desires start to become reality. Many of us have lots of incompletions in our inner space. That's why we feel stuck in one or more areas of our lives: health, relationships, career, money. If you have a desire that isn't happening, turn inward. Your mind will tell you all the reasons why it can happen. These reasons are incompletions. Go back and identify the original incident that causes you to feel bad. Sit in front of a mirror and relive the experience. Feel any pain, discomfort, and agitation in your body. Set aside a time to do regular completion sessions. For instance, last thing each night. You can seek out the source of incompletion so your desires are realized faster. Completion can change other people's behavior, your relationships, and the world around you. Let go of fixed ideas about how your desire is going to be realized. Let go and allow your desires to be realized in the best possible way.